So speaking of men's basketball programs that are doing well, if you don't go down the ASC, it's an interesting race. We've had a lot of teams down there that we've been talking about from time to time. Whether it's Mary Hardin Baylor, of course, it's getting in lots of the top 25 attention. Also talk about Hardin Simmons. Texas Dallas gets attention. ETBU certainly does. But LeTourneau's standing out this season. First-year head coach James Wallace has his team at 18-4 overall. They were 23-6 in the last full campaign. But again, in the ASC, you can kind of be hidden under a few others. But they're playing well. And thanks to circumstances that worked out in our favor, they were free tonight. So joining us on the Blue Frame Technology Hoopsville Hotline, it's James Wallace, who stepped out of practice, I may add, to join us on the show. I appreciate it, Coach. First and foremost, congratulations. 18-4 on the season in your first run here, 13-4 in conference play. You got to be thrilled with where your team is right now.
Yeah, it's been great. We've had multiple long winning streaks, which has been fun to be a part of. We've had some really close games, which has made things interesting. Some buzzer beaters and been on both sides of the buzzer beater this season, but it's been a great run with a veteran team too, which has made it great. A lot of guys that I coached as an assistant. I've been here for 7 years as an assistant, first year as a head coach. So to be able to do it with these guys and have them trust and buy into what we're doing has been pretty fun.
Yeah, close finishes. You also seem to get your losses in bunches. Your first two came on December 18th and 19th against on the road against Mary Hardin Baylor and then Concordia, Texas. Close games, 5-point loss in overtime against Mary Hardin Baylor, 2-point loss in overtime against Concordia, Texas, sensing the theme. And then end of January, beginning of February, you lost to Belhaven and Mary Hardin Baylor with a win against Concordia, Texas, sandwiched in between. And again, as you said, close losses. So it seems like you guys are playing well, and just sometimes some bad luck, some bad bounces come your way. How do you differentiate between the losses of games you should have won and the losses that just didn't go your way?
And I think that's the testament to our conference. I mean, every night is a battle, an absolute battle, and especially with teams like Concordia that are going to get you up and down and bring a lot of pressure. We weren't ready for that at the time, and we grew from that and beat them the next time around. But with the games with UMHB, I mean, it's an absolute slugfest, and that was two great games, honestly, and one possession type games where you look at missed free throws down the stretch, or little things here and there that you can nitpick at. But at the end of the day, it's two great teams really going at each other. But yeah, the losses, were tough, but I feel like the close games that we played are going to help us when it comes to any time.
You got a team that's got 2 games left, both on the road. Interesting enough, you're taking on UT Dallas, who's sitting in third. You guys are in second. You're then taking on Ozarks, who were the defending champs last year. And you're 2 games behind Mary Hardin Baylor, who I think has 3 to play because they're playing tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that. And you've lost twice, too. So, I mean, there's a chance that you can catch them and maybe make sure things come through LeTourneau. Or is it more important to just focus on you guys and just say, okay, hey, second place, whatever. We got to get our job. We got to get the job done nonetheless.
Right. We're not looking. We're not watching UMHB right now. We're just like you said, focusing on us and what we're doing. We want to be playing our best basketball heading into this conference tournament, and so our focus is on Dallas, UT Dallas tomorrow. We go there, and that's a tough place to play, and a great team, great coach team, and so we're locking in and getting ready for that one. We just win the day. Just focus on what we can do each day.
We're not watching that game either because it hasn't started yet. So we'll cross that bridge in a bit. Hey, real quick, let's start with you. Let's back up a little bit and go to the fact that you're in your first year at LETU. You were a 7-year assistant under Dan Miller. So basically your 8th year. And again, had to deal with COVID and everything that jumped with it, along with Dan. And then now you're the winningest coach, or tied for the most wins, I guess is the right way of saying it, in the program's 75-year history as a rookie head coach. You obviously got the pieces Dan gave you, but that doesn't always work. I've been in that situation where all the pieces are there on a really good team and a coach takes over and it doesn't jive. It doesn't sync. It doesn't work. What has been the secret this year for the success you're having?
I would say our leadership. Honestly, it's been the guys, our seniors I mentioned, really buying into what we're doing. Now, granted, we haven't changed a ton, but we've changed some, and some things defensively and a few things offensively that have, been different for them. But they bought into the culture and what we're doing, and what we're about, and that's made that a pretty seamless transition. And honestly, if you have your leaders and your top guys, if they're going to do things the right way and pull guys along with them, it makes that transition to the next chair up a little easier.
Certainly. Team, by the way, second most wins in conference play since joining the league. You can tie the record if you win the next 2 games. 6 most wins in school history for a season, 4th since joining the NCAA. And you got guys like Andrew Eberhardt, who scored 1,000 points, leads your team in scoring. What did I see? 20 some odd points a game to lead this. Yeah, 20.6 leads the team at 5.8 rebounds. He's 3rd on the team. Also hands out a heck of a lot of assists. Your team does in general. We'll talk about the rest, but what's a guy like Andrew Eberhardt bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, Andrew's obviously the top scorer and the guy that gets a lot of recognition. He's had multiple 30-point games this season, and kid can flat out shoot the basketball, but he does so much more for us. Like you said, handing out assists. Just the way we play is very unselfish. We talk about playing good to great. You might have a good shot, but we want to find a great shot, and so that's why you see that high assist total for us. And we're unselfish. We understand that teams are going to try and take away a threat like Andrew, and there's been multiple teams that have tried to face guard him, and that's where other guys step up. We have a sophomore, Deontay Jackson, who was a freshman of the year in our region last year, and he's averaging 19 a game. And senior Warren Richardson, who's really stepped into a different role. He came off the bench for 2 years prior, and was in a kind of a wing position, but we kind of transitioned him into a more of a ball screen and roll, and he's really adopted that and played really well and averaging 15 a game, and rebounding well for us as well.
Yeah, we should point out again. You pointed out that Jackson and Richardson double figures. Also, Richardson had a team high in rebounds, and then you got Kyle Matthews, 4th on the team in scoring, 2nd on in terms of rebounding. But the assists is what jump out at me. Eberhardt's got 65, Jackson with 83, Richardson with 42, 67 for Matthews, 53 for Adams. And by the way, 36 for Jordan Pride, who we haven't mentioned about. There's a lot of guys who don't mind giving up the ball.
Yeah, and honestly, that's it speaks to the family and the brotherhood that we have, and not really caring who gets the score. It's about the team and getting that win. But we talk about playing under control, and that's something that we've grown in as the season has come along, and understanding that the defense is going to take away something, right? And we do a great job of being on balance, being under control, and finding that open guy. If they're going to help, okay, the next guy up, and we're going to make that extra play, extra pass.
How challenging is it, especially nowadays in the ASC, when you look at the fact that you've got a lot of good teams? The conference seems pretty deep. We mentioned it off the top of the bat. Obviously, Mary Hardin-Baylor leading the way. You guys are second. Hardin-Simmons, who came in looking good this season's 10-6 in conference play. Texas Dallas, we always know, is a good team at 10-6. ETBU, et cetera, have always been good. Saul Ross has been good in the past before Cliff joined Mary Hardin-Baylor. It's a tough conference. You guys play a lot of conference games. You don't leave a lot outside of conference to play. As a result, you kind of get overlooked a little bit when it comes to regional rankings. How hard is it to shine, not only the fact you're in Texas, but in Division III a little bit?
Yeah, you bring up a lot of great points and things that we've obviously battled for a long time. And, we have 20 conference games, so that only leaves us 5 to try and find good quality opponents in the non-conference schedule. And unfortunately, we can't really help our location and where we're at. And so travel becomes really difficult, and we're working to try and get those regionally ranked games, those tough opponents that can help us get more on that national radar. But like you said, our conference is extremely tough, and night to night you really have to bring it. And we got tough road trips. I mean, we got to go all the way out to Sol Ross, a 10-hour bus ride. And, it's a grind through the season to win, especially on the road. And, we beat up on each other a lot down here in Texas.
Yeah, you do. Unfortunately, that is the case. Hey, one thing that jumps out at me, whether it was Rays or not, I noticed there's another Wallace on the coaching staff, a Joel Wallace, not to be confused with James Wallace, aka your brother. What's it like to be coaching with your brother?
It is absolutely a blessing, and he's been great stepping in, and he came from a coaching background. Our dad's a coach. We've been around basketball our lives, and so I know that he was going to bring a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise, and also just a different personality. We're completely different, and so he brings something to the table that I can't, and our guys have really responded to that. And I also know that he's going to have my back, and so going into my first season and my first time as a head coach, I couldn't have thought of anybody better to bring in as my assistant.
He's running practice right now, right?
He is.
Is that a good thing? Should we let you go? Do you have to make sure nothing's getting fouled up?
I think he's got it under control. It's his scout this week, so he's got it.
So in other words, if they lose, it's his fault.
I wasn't going to say that.
Oh, I know, but I did. Hey, again, really good season for a program that has been quietly kind of around. And we talk about LeTourneau, we talk about the team over the last few years. But again, the Mary Hardin Baylors, the Sol Rosses, and others have seemed to outshine you guys a little bit. And sometimes that's okay for a program. They don't mind if others getting the attention. Is there an evolutionary step here now for you guys that it's time to step through and become the light of the ASC? And when might we see that happen?
Yeah, I think that's something that we've been pushing for. We would love to be in that conversation year after year. And like I mentioned, that comes with trying to play different teams, trying to get out of our area a little bit and get on that national radar. But that's a push from our administration as well, of letting LeTourneau, getting the name of LeTourneau University out there. And so, we feel like we can be a big part of that. And so, we're going to continue to push. And honestly, just we can't control everything, but we can control each game, and hopefully people start tuning in and watching some good basketball down here in Texas.
Well, hey, James, appreciate the time. Would love to talk more, but I know, you got to make sure your brother's not running him too much ahead of tomorrow's game. But also a lot of other things you got to take care of. So I appreciate the time you took. Obviously, big 2 games coming up on the road. We wish you luck. We have a tradition on the show. We always give the coach the final word. Any final thoughts you want to share with those who might be tuned in?
Oh, just I know my family's tuned in, so that's exciting. Love every one of you. And Dave, I just want to thank you for all you do for Division III and just the game of basketball. And so there's some great basketball being played all over the nation, and especially down here in Texas. So I want to thank you for bringing us on. Well,
thanks. Appreciate it. It's a lot easier when you get people like yourself who are willing to come on the show and let us ask us dumb questions. So we appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Good luck down the road, and we'll look forward to talking about the team down the road as well.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
Awesome. James Wallace joining us on the Blue Frame Technology Hoopsville Hotline, apparently presented by Down the Road.